My name is Jonathan Pierce. For most of my career, I dealt with ordinary cases: fraud, missing persons, theft. But sometimes, the ordinary hides something that refuses to stay quiet. It started with a report from a logistics company based just outside the city. 3 long-haul drivers had vanished within 2 months. Each had called dispatch to report their location, a highway rest stop about 80 miles south. Each was supposed to continue their route within an hour. None of them did. Their trucks were found parked neatly in the lot. Engines off. Doors locked from the inside. No signs of a struggle. No footprints leading away. Just silence. The local sheriff's office had already run out of leads. He called me in, not officially, but quietly, as a favor. The kind you don't put on paper. I drove down just before midnight. The rest stop sat on a lonely stretch of interstate, a cluster of vending machines, 2 restrooms, a few flickering lamps, and the sound of trucks passing far too fast. The air smelled of diesel and wet asphalt. I parked near the gas pumps, shut off the engine, and sat for a while. The place looked normal. A few semis parked in the shadows. A couple of empty sedans. The hum of refrigeration units in the distance. But the longer I stayed, the more the stillness bothered me. It wasn't peaceful. It was suspended. Like time held its breath here. I walked the perimeter, checking each truck. One still had a half-eaten sandwich on the dashboard. Another had its radio turned to static. The third, the last one reported missing, had a faint odor of burnt coffee and cigarette smoke, like its driver had just stepped out for a minute. The gas station was dark, closed after 10 p.m., but the lights inside the small diner across the lot were still on. The sign said, "Open 24 hours." But through the windows, the chairs were stacked upside down on the tables. No one inside. I tried the door. It was unlocked. Inside, the air was cold and still. A jukebox in the corner glowed faintly, its digital clock blinking 12 o'clock over and over. Napkins scattered on the counter. A single coffee cup, half full, with a ring of foam clinging to the rim. I checked behind the counter, empty. No staff, no notes, no signs of cashing out. Just a calendar on the wall, the same date circled in red 3 times, July 14th. I left the diner and walked back toward the parking lot. A truck rumbled past on the highway, its lights briefly illuminating the lot. For a second, I thought I saw movement behind one of the vending machines, a shape, maybe a reflection. But when I got closer, there was nothing. Just the hum of compressors and the flicker of fluorescent tubes above. I took a slow breath and looked around. Everything about this place said temporary. A stop, a pause between destinations. But something, or someone, was making people disappear here. I got back into my car, opened my notepad, and wrote 3 words at the top of a fresh page. No departure recorded. Then I turned off the light and watched the rest stop until sunrise. By the next morning, I had a plan. The company provided me with the last GPS logs from each missing driver. All 3 had stopped at the same rest area, same coordinates, and each went off-grid within 30 minutes of arrival. Their last phone calls were short. Routine. No panic in their voices. Just standard check-ins before continuing their routes. But what stood out was the time. Every call happened between 11:47 p.m. and 12:03 a.m. Different days. Same window. I decided to return that night. No backup. No attention. Just me, my car, and a small camera running on the dashboard. If something was happening here, I wanted to see it the same way they did. I arrived at 11:30. The rest stop looked even emptier than before. Only one semi parked near the edge of the lot, engine idling. Inside, no driver. The key still in the ignition. I scanned the interior with my flashlight. A thermos, a logbook, a pair of sunglasses. The driver's wallet was still on the seat. No sign of struggle. Just absence. I walked to the vending machines. The hum was louder tonight, like the power lines were straining. A flickering light above buzzed and popped. I could hear the highway, distant and constant, but the lot itself felt cut off, like sound didn't quite travel right here. At midnight, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I hesitated. Then answered. Static. Then a voice, faint, almost drowned in the noise. Still here. I froze. The voice was male. Hoarse. Barely a whisper. Don't stop. Then silence. No signal afterward. The call disappeared from the log. I stood there for a full minute, trying to process what I just heard. I looked at the highway, only empty roads stretching into darkness. No movement, no headlights. Then I noticed something new. In the diner window, the same diner that had been dark and empty before, there was light. Dim, yellowish, flickering from inside. I crossed the lot quickly, boots crunching on gravel. The door was still unlocked. The jukebox was off this time, but I could hear the faint hum of a fridge in the back. The light came from the kitchen. I pushed the door open. Inside, the air was warm, heavy with the smell of burnt toast. On the counter, a fresh pot of coffee. Steam rising. Someone had been here. Recently. I moved closer. There were 3 cups on the counter, neatly arranged, each filled halfway. And next to them, a small spiral notebook. The top page read, July 14 to 12 a.m., he's still waiting. I turned the page, but the rest were blank. That's when I heard the sound. A truck engine, slow, distant, starting up outside. I rushed out, heart pounding. The semi that had been parked near the edge was now pulling onto the road. But I hadn't seen anyone climb in. I ran toward it, waving my flashlight, shouting for it to stop. It didn't slow down. As it passed under the street light, I caught a glimpse through the windshield. The driver's seat was empty. I jumped into my car and started the engine, tires spinning on the gravel. The semi's red taillights were fading down the highway, slow but steady. No sign of a driver. Just that low, mechanical hum that seemed to echo louder than it should. I pulled onto the road and followed. The GPS tracker on my phone locked onto the truck's signal, the same one from the missing driver's rig. It was active again, after weeks of silence. For a few miles, everything felt almost normal. The road stretched endlessly in front of me, illuminated by the glow of my headlights. Then the signal on my phone began to flicker. The truck's icon on the map froze. Then it started to move backward. Not slowing down. Not turning. Just reversing direction. On the screen, it was driving straight back toward me. But outside, it was still moving away. I frowned, glancing between the road and the display. The two realities didn't match. Then the truck ahead suddenly disappeared around a bend. When I turned the corner seconds later, it was gone. Completely. No tire tracks. No brake lights. Just an empty stretch of asphalt glowing under the moon. The GPS, however, said otherwise. It showed the truck stopped, at the rest stop. Back where we started. I pulled over, breathing hard. Checked my watch. 12:04 a.m. I tried calling dispatch, but my phone had no service anymore. Only static. And under that static, for just a moment, I heard something that froze my blood. Voices. Multiple. Repeating the same words, again and again. Keep moving. Don't stop. Then the line went dead. I turned the car around. My instincts screamed to leave it alone, to go home, file the report, and let someone else deal with it. But part of me needed to see what the hell was happening there. So I drove back. The rest stop came into view faster than I expected. Lights flickered weakly across the lot. The semi was back, parked exactly where it had been. Except now, there were 3 trucks lined up beside it. All identical. All with engines off. No drivers. I got out slowly, recording everything. The air was thick, cold, electric, like right before a storm. My breath fogged in front of me. The diner door was open again, lights spilling onto the pavement. And from inside faintly came a sound, the low crackle of a radio. I stepped closer, trying to hear. A male voice, distorted, repeating on loop. Scheduled stop complete. Awaiting next pickup. Then silence. I looked inside. The 3 cups were still there. But now there was a 4th. Steam rising from it. Next to it, the notebook lay open. A new entry scrawled across the top page in shaky handwriting. October 29th, 12 a.m., he finally came back. And underneath, in smaller letters, don't follow. I turned toward the door. But before I could move, the headlights from all 3 trucks flared on at once. Engines roared to life. The sound was deafening. I dropped my phone, shielding my eyes from the glare. And through the brightness, just for a second, I thought I saw shapes, silhouettes in the driver's seats, perfectly still. When the lights finally dimmed, the lot was empty again. All trucks gone. The air silent. Only the faint hum of the vending machine remained. When I finally got back into my car, my hands were trembling. The engine started, but I barely remember turning the key. The world outside the windshield looked wrong, too still, too pale under the moonlight. The diner's lights were gone now. Even the sound of insects had stopped. I drove. Didn't care where, just away. The farther I went, the less sense things made. Every few minutes, I'd pass a gas station or rest area I swore I'd already seen. Same broken soda machine. Same flickering streetlight. Same billboard with peeling paint that said, "Safe roads begin here." My GPS kept recalculating, glitching, repeating the same soft voice. Continue straight. Continue straight. Continue straight. Over and over, until I turned the volume down. When I finally reached the main highway again, my phone buzzed. Signal restored. I pulled over to check messages. Nothing from dispatch, nothing from anyone. But one new notification popped up. An email. No sender. No subject. Just one attachment. Delivery _log _ 1183.csv. I hesitated, then opened it. The file contained one line of data. Date, October 29th. Time, 12 a.m. Location, Highway Rest Stop 43. Status, completed. Assigned driver, Pierce Harrison. My stomach dropped. The screen dimmed. Then flickered. And when it came back, the file was gone. I told myself I was exhausted. That it was just a trick of my brain after a sleepless night. So I drove home, locked the door, and tried to forget it. But when I woke up the next morning, there was a message waiting on my answering machine. A man's voice. Calm. Measured. It said, Pierce Harrison. Route 1183 confirmed. Next delivery scheduled. Vehicle assigned. Then the line clicked. A faint mechanical hum followed. The same one from the rest stop. I froze. Slowly turned toward the window. Outside, parked by the curb, was a semi-truck. Same faded red paint. Same blank license plate. No driver inside. The engine was running. And the dashboard light blinked softly. En route. My phone buzzed again. A new notification. GPS active. Destination preloaded. Rest stop 43. I didn't open the door. Didn't move. I just stood there, staring at the truck, listening to the quiet grow heavier. Then the engine cut off by itself. And in the silence that followed, my phone lit up one more time. A text message. No number. Just a single line of text. Scheduled stop complete. Awaiting next pickup. And beneath it, a new name. Mine. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound from outside made me flinch. A car passing, a gust of wind, even the creak of my own floorboards. The truck didn't move. It sat there under the dim streetlight, engine dead, cabin empty. But I couldn't shake the feeling that it was waiting. By sunrise, I forced myself to step outside. The air was cold and metallic, the kind of chill that sticks to your teeth when you breathe. The truck's door hung slightly open now, swaying with the morning breeze. Against every instinct, I approached. There was no key in the ignition. No papers, no wallet, no registration. Just a clipboard on the passenger seat, its paper yellowed and damp. The top page read, Rest Stop Manifest, Route 1183. I flipped through it. Each line was the same. Cargo unknown. Weight variable. Destination confidential. Assigned driver blank. Until the last entry. My name again. Pierce Harrison. But below it, in faint red ink, there was an additional note. Recovered. Route completed. Recovered. Like I was the shipment. That word hit harder than I expected. And when I looked closer, there were more faint outlines beneath the ink, erased names, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all smudged out by time or by someone's hand. My phone vibrated again. A new message. Coordinates. The same rest stop. I started the car before I could think twice. Some part of me, maybe the same part that got me into detective work, couldn't let it go. I needed to understand what that place was. Who ran it? Why my name kept appearing. The road back felt longer than before, like the highway itself was stretching out to keep me on it. Every mile marker was bent or broken. Every exit ramp led nowhere. And yet, when I reached Rest Stop 43, the lot looked brand new. No cracked pavement, no flickering lights. The building was pristine. A young woman stood behind the counter this time, smiling like I'd just come home. Welcome, Mr. Harrison, she said softly. We've been expecting you. Before I could answer, she handed me a manila envelope. My name was typed neatly on the front. Inside, photographs. Each one showed a different driver standing beside the same red truck. Each one had the same blank eyes. The same hollow expression. And on the back of every photo, a date. The last one was blank. That's when I heard the horn outside. 3 short bursts. The same as before. I turned back toward the window. The truck was there again, but the engine wasn't idling this time. It was rumbling, alive, steady, waiting. The woman behind the counter tilted her head. It's your route now, she said. Please don't keep them waiting. My mouth went dry. I wanted to argue, to tell her this was insane. But something in her expression told me it wouldn't matter. This wasn't a conversation, it was a handoff. When I stepped outside, the air felt heavier, almost humming. I opened the truck door. The seat was warm. The dash lit up on its own. Destination pending. In the rearview mirror, I saw my reflection blur. Not disappear, just shift. like I was fading into something else. Then, just for a moment, I saw another face staring back. A man I didn't recognize. His lips moved, forming words I couldn't hear. But I understood them anyway. "You shouldn't have come back." The radio crackled. Static filled the cabin, then cleared just long enough for one final transmission. "Route 1183, departure confirmed." The headlights turned on. The rest stop vanished behind me in the mirror. And as the road swallowed me again, I realized something I hadn't before. There was never any destination. There never had been. Just the route. Always the route. The truck drove on through endless asphalt, the GPS silent, the clock frozen. And somewhere, deep in the static of the radio, my own voice whispered back. "Scheduled stop complete."